And so moving into another part of the question, how did you get into the movie business? Was it something that you always wanted to do? Or was it something that, or was it something like, so you were in the right place at the right moment?
Well, like I mentioned, it was truly just an epiphany of me trying to find something that I love and wanted to do for the rest of my life. And it was the epiphany when I realized that I had maybe a talent in acting, and I did not maybe realize it before because I did not, my idea of acting, like you said, we grew up with just the television. So for us, thinking movies, TV stars, that is a far-fetched, out of reach type of thing to be among the stars, right? It's not even a thing that unless you actually genuinely wanted to act since you were a child, you don't think about because you're like, oh, if I ever happen to come across a movie star, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And that's the biggest thing in the world because again, they weren't so accessible to you because you only saw them on TV. Unless you lived in Hollywood, you weren't going to bump into them at the grocery store. Now you get to see them on social media and whatnot. So that is why for a long time it was never really something I thought about. And again, in my 29, 30-year-old, we have all these accessible things that you can see what a movie star is up to with their social media. And because of all the changes that had happened in the world, I thought, okay, well, once I get in my mind, I thought once I just find an acting class, they will be able to tell me how I can go about advancing my career in this if it is for me, and I will find myself on a movie set. And that is exactly what happened, actually. Because I took an acting class, a lot of my fellow actors were already working on projects. And I always said, hey, if you need help, if you need a tree in the background, I will be the biggest tree you ever see. That's fine. I want to experience. I want to learn. I'm here to take it all in. And the thing about me is once I find something that I truly, truly love, I don't want shortcuts. Don't give me a shortcut. I want the full experience. I want to learn from the ground up what it takes to make it. So by the time I'm here and I am hopefully very proficient at it, I will know what it feels like to have started from the bottom along with everyone else. And that is why I started with just the acting class. A lot of people ask me how they can start being an actor and being in a movie. And I think, and I think to myself, okay, well, have you, now there's really no excuse with all the information online and social media. But I said, have you searched for a network of people, anybody, whether you have social media, whether you ask your friends? As a matter of fact, today I answered a question online where somebody asked me, how do they start making a movie? And I said, it really is just as simple as asking a friend of yours and says, hey, do you want to make something cool? You have your phone, you have a good camera that is on your phone, and just create a story and act. Use your phone. Get one person. That's all you need. Or find social media pages that are trying to do the same. And all of a sudden you will be meeting a new network of people that you will be able to get with and make a movie. So it's not difficult to make a movie. Now, if you are referring to big movie sets, that is an entirely different thing because there's indie filmmaking and then there's obviously like Hollywood, bigger productions.
Yeah.
And the majority of us who are not in Hollywood yet or bigger productions, we're all in the the independent filmmaking right now. So that is how I found myself in the indie, is by taking a class who then led to one of my friends who was also a student in the class saying, hey, you know what? I am in this film. One of the actresses is not able to make it. You don't have any lines, but you will be, just acting, performing, reacting. And would you be interested? And I said, yes, absolutely. It was only a few hours notice. I got showered. I got dressed. I was on set. I don't have any lines to learn, although I could have if they needed to. I was ready for it. And then from there, I met everyone on the set of that film that I was able to network with. And from there came more opportunities to continue to be on more and more sets that they were part of individually. And that is really how it grew. It really is a networking game. It really is, because you need the people to make movies. That's the bottom line.
It's true. I mean, speaking as an actor myself and done a lot of extra work, it's always good when you're on the sets of everything and you get to meet people you never met before. You keep wondering, are you going to meet them again? Or is this going to happen? Are we going to cross paths? And and then you always ask them, well, what agency are you with? I'm with so and so. I'm with so and so. Okay, let's exchange details. How did you go by signing up with them? What are you doing soon? Oh, I'm going to be doing this movie. Okay, I don't live far from there. You can shout me if you need anything as well. It's always great to work that because you've all found the common ground. You found common interest. Let's build on that and make something even bigger and better, isn't it?
Yes. So I will say on that, to make a note on what you just mentioned, and I say this to everybody that I can. Networking to find the right opportunities business wise that serve you. Yes, everyone will do that. Everyone will say, okay, what agency you're with, or oh, I'm with this and that. But there is a difference, and I believe everybody can feel it when people approach you with the intent of just needing something from you, or you're genuinely coming to them because you're interested in them as a genuine connection, as an acquaintance, as a potential friendship. And I've always approached, and it hasn't really been with the intent, it's just who I am. Everybody that I approach on set or off set or anywhere, I'm always very, very friendly. I'm always very much a person that I am genuinely interested in what you're up to. And I talk to you about your interests. It doesn't have to serve a purpose for me. I'm just genuinely curious. And if in doing so, talking to you, we've discovered that there is something in common. We do have the same agent. Or I worked on that movie set too. Well, what did you think about this? Anything that you have a genuine connection with people, building friendships. It helps when you are one day saying, hey, they're looking for this type of character in this film, and I thought you would be great at it because I met you and you have this kind of look. Maybe you're interested. Here you go. With no uh, reciprocation. What I'm not doing it with any intention to get anything back. It is with me just saying, I genuinely thought you might be good at it. Here you go. And I think people understand or feel when it's just me doing for the sake of being supportive and connecting with people to grow together versus I'm just talking to you because I want to know something from you that might benefit me. And people feel that. And that is unfortunately, I know a lot of my friends, and there's memes out there about it, of how somewhere like LA, a big hub, it works that way, right? When you're in a big mixer and they're just talking to you because if they think you're a nobody and they think you're not really high up there, they don't really have that much interest in you. They'll talk to you, but if they think, oh, you know what, you can't do anything for me, they move on to the next. And I get it. If you're there just to network, you have a purpose, you have a goal, you don't want to waste time, you want the opportunity to talk to the biggest person in the room, I get it. But it is felt when you're just working the room versus when you're genuinely there to enjoy the people working there. And I feel, and it's been my understanding, and I believe in this as well since I started this, that the biggest thing is being a person that people want to work with. You want to be a person that is likable and that they want you on their set. If you are just a person that is using people, or you're pleasant, but then you are not really pleasant when they don't benefit you in some way, it kind of, word gets around. It's a big industry, but in one city, it's not that much, especially in Las Vegas. Maybe LA is not as much, but Las Vegas, yes, it will be known that you are a little bit just trying to find people for the benefit of you, what works for you, versus when you're genuinely a good person wanting to grow with everybody. And I do believe the craft can be taught. You can learn it. But people skills, genuineness, kindness, that is innate, I feel. And
Yeah.
I firmly believe that. So if you come with the intention of, I just want to, see how you're doing, and cool if we connect and cool if we don't. Either way, here's my social media, and something will come across one day where I can think of you or you think of me. That works better in your favor versus just, let me get all the info from you ahead of time so I can know if you're someone worth connecting with. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. It happens to a lot of people as well. They just want to know you for what you can do for them, not know you in generally who you are as an individual. And that's always the wrong thing. I always personally believe that you really do need to get to know that person. As in, you don't know what struggles they're going through, you do not know what hassles they've been through, and everything. But at the end of the day, you're all there for the same purpose. You need to get recognized, you need to make connections, but you got to do the right thing. You got to go the right way about doing things, not just all necessarily about you so and so, so and so, and so and so to do this, this, and this for me and everything. When that's wrong on all accounts. So one other question: where did the idea come from, writing the movie and developing the movie Flower of Hope? Because I was watching that the other day, and I got to admit, one of the most beautiful short movies I've ever seen. God
Thank
bless
you
you for
so
doing it.
much. I
No,
appreciate that.
seriously. God bless you for everything as well.
Thank you. Well, so Flower of Hope was my very, very first short film, and it came about the guy that plays in the movie. His name is Ashish Williams. He is a filmmaker as well in California, an actor as well, and he had his own production called The Algorithm, I believe, and he had done a few other shorts. And we were friends. We were as well connected online because beauty of social media networking is you'll eventually one day connect on something when you have
Yeah, that's
similar
true.
interests. So that is how him and I connected. We never actually met in person, but we connected, I believe, during the pandemic, if anything. Again, see how the pandemic works. And because of that, I supported a lot of his things because I thought they were really, really great. And him following me back and supporting me back as well in my connection projects. And we were talking one day, and he knew I wanted to one day create something. I just hadn't really thought about what. And at that time, for some reason, I don't know why, the films I had created or was part of, I should say, excuse me, I always was getting beat up and killed or something. My mom always was like, "Why are you always getting killed in movies?" She did not appreciate that at all. I get that. And I thought, I don't know. I don't know. But I will say the next movie I do, I said, it's going to be romance. It's going to be romantic. It's going to be heartfelt. It's going to be something. I want to put a good heartfelt message out there. And then as I was speaking with Ashish, we said, okay, well, let's do something. Let's create something. And I said, okay, so let's come up with a story. And it would start off potentially as a romance. And then it kind of developed into this idea because I was like, well, he was going through his own personal issues, and I'm very much a positive person. And I thought, if we're both creating a story, then let me go ahead and take something that might mean something to him at the time and something that is also part of me, of who I am. And it just started developing my mind. I've always been a very creative person when it comes to writing and developing stories. And I thought, okay, I know it started seemingly like a romance, but it's not going to be romance. It's going to mean much more. And that is how that story just kind of developed for me. And he said, okay, I will come down with my DP. His name is Sunny. And, we'll shoot it. And I said, okay, great. I will do the location scouting. I will find everything else. And it's going to be very simple. I said, this is not meant to be a big production. It's really just us getting together to create. Remember, I mentioned that you just find one person that just wants to create something with you. That's all it was. And he knew his DP from his own production. So he was willing to bring him down. And I said, okay, great. So I decided to put forth my little part. He put his. He came down for a weekend. It was very easy, simple, did not want it to complicate it at all B-roll. And everything just kind of worked out really nicely. And from that point, once I got the footage, which we shot in one weekend, then post-production came. And I said, okay, I know a lot of editors that I can reach out to. One specifically was my friend, whom, by the way, I had met that very first set I was part of, which I mentioned, right, that I networked. He became a really good friend of mine. A lot of them did, actually. He was usually my go-to person to have anything to do with film. I have an idea. Do you want to do this? Like, yeah, let's do it. He's a director himself, so he was always down to create with me. And he was busy at the time, so I reached out to a different editor that I had met at a different time. And it didn't really work out with that editor. for what I wanted, then that's fine. It happens that way. And I said, okay, by the time that I decided to just go a different route, my friend became available. And I said, okay, would you be willing to sit down with me and edit the way I want? He's like, of course. That's what directors do. They sit down with the editors and tell them what they want. I said, okay, perfect. He's my friend, so I could be there hours on end. And it was a good friend to have, bless his heart, because I was very meticulous and he knew my madness. He knew my madness well. We were there hours on end telling him exactly. I'm like, no, this little, because that is also how I helped him edit my music video with Breathe Again.
Okay.
I also did that.
Yeah.
So he already knew how crazy I was a little bit when it came to that.
It's a good kind of crazy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Trust the madness. Sometimes you just got to trust the madness. There's a reason to it. So,
method in the madness.
Right, exactly. And then finally finished editing it. And I said, I needed a voiceover because it was all B-roll. It was all going to be music initially. I hired Davide Perico from Italy, who is an Italian composer. And he was part of a different film that I was in. And so I knew I could reach out to him to compose something very unique for my film. Yeah. And that's exactly what I did. I said, I have this feeling, this is kind of what I want. So he provided me with the music. And I'm like, it kind of just needs a little bit of something. I want a voiceover. And initially, it was supposed to be the original actor, Ashish, to do the voiceover. But he was sick at the time and going through his own stuff. So I said, okay, no worries. I wrote something myself with some inspiration from Ashish. That I could take, to fit the film of what was happening in each scene. And I have a friend of mine here, Justin, who is also a voiceover actor, that he said the turnaround was quick, literally one day. He could do it so fast because his studio set up. I said, perfect. So I was trying to meet a deadline to submit it to a festival. And so therefore, I didn't really have much time left to do any edits if I want it. It was just what I got is what I got. And I believe that, I don't want to say I'm a perfectionist, but I want to say that what I got is what was meant to be. Yeah. So therefore I was able to submit it and it got good recognition. So, what ended up happening was the, idea was that, again, I left it open for interpretation for anyone who sees the film to tell me what they get out of it. What did they think it was about? And I've gotten some really interesting response, and it really meant a lot to me what audiences have truly felt from watching it. And I will share with you what they are, but I would like to hear yours first because I'm curious to see what you thought of it. I will tell you how now at this point in time, because I believe that was like maybe a year or two ago, what it means to me. So can you please tell me what you got out of Flower of Hope?
In all honesty, it was a very beautiful, touching story due to the fact that it resembles a lot of people who've may have lost hope in the world, lost hope in humanity. But then you never know who you're going to be meeting along the way who can actually give a little bit. To me, the flower was a symbol of hope, and then it's like, for example, it's that saying in it, a little goes a long way. And I felt it was very. I was watching. It's like, that reminds me of this what happened. That reminds me of that what happened. And it was very moving. It was kind of like on the levels of, I would say, if you ever watched the movie Peaceful Warrior with Nick Nolte, it was kind of similar to that. Like one person who you've met for a little while can change your life for the greater good. And that's what it was. It was one of them life-changing movies. And you rarely get that this day and age.
Thank you. That is exactly what it is, actually. He is a man that lost all hope, and the flower he throws away is a representation of his hope. He throws away the flower, and then a female comes behind and gives him the flower back. He doesn't want it initially, right? And that means he doesn't want his hope back. She is a representation of life. She is life giving him back hope. And a lot of people, when they saw it, some of them thought, oh, maybe she is a person from his past that has passed away and it showed up in his dream, right? And one of the festivals that I showed in I think it was like Dallas, literally said that she broke down in tears because her husband had passed away. And she felt that. She felt that she couldn't move past after he passed, but his her husband, her deceased husband, came to her in a dream and maybe had a similar interaction and whatnot. And she felt like she could, after that, continue. And I was very touched by that, the fact that, she resonated with in that way, that it was personal to her. Because of the messages that I have, right? The hope messages versus Dostoevsky and then Aristotle.
Yeah. Good
And
choice.
thank you. I'm very, very picky with, like I said, what the messages I put in the world. So for me, it means they're very specific to what I put. Anyway, so that was another, and then for other people, like for example, June is a men's mental health awareness month, and because Ashish, was also going through stuff at the time, it was important also for me to put that out there, that men's mental health is important. Towards the end of the film, if you noticed, so she was talking the majority of the time, and he was just listening because he was still trying to figure out what was her angle. And he kind of let his walls down a bit, had fun with her, had an experience of something where the arc of his character started changing from sad to actually enjoying his time spending with her. And at the very end, when they're in the car, she stays quiet and he starts talking and she's listening. So he was able to open up about whatever he was wanting to share. And, they had obviously this soft moment where they were going to kiss, but they never actually kissed, because the film, again, was not about that. He wakes up and the flower that he had thrown away in his dream is actually in his car. How did that flower get there if it was in his dream? Was it there before? The idea is that he woke up, he was a man that lost hope, he had a dream, in the dream, life gave him back hope. And when he woke up, he had hope again, which is why it was in his car. And that's why he drove off with hope again with the car. Because she, the female, was life trying to give him that back. And I feel like it's important to show in a subtle way that men also need a space to be heard, and they deserve to be, held and understood, and creating that, just like women need space to be vulnerable and emotionally held, so do men. And I believe that was also another thing that I was trying to also show in the film, right? So not only hope, but in every way, hope for someone's loved one that passed away, hope for men as well that deserve that. Anybody who's gone through it. And
yeah, it's true, because it's one of them things where you can go a long way on hope, whether you're in the desert, you're in the dark, you're lost, you've lost this and this, but if you remain hopeful, something will come along the way for you to say it's not as bad as you think it was.
Yes, absolutely. There's always something left to live in this life, even when you think it's all done and there's nothing left. There's always something. And sometimes in the movie, all I did was put the little fun things in life, right? It wasn't something miraculously spectacular. It started off with, hey, let's go play a video game. And you enjoy those, right? An arcade.
Yeah.
And then let's watch a movie that we can talk about and we can discuss, what do you think about it? Let's star watch. Let's have some delicious food, reminding you the deliciousness of life, right? Of the food that is so great, and the little moments that you maybe to not take notice anymore because they're so mundane or they're so in your everyday life. You don't realize that when you don't have those moments, they were the special moments, right? Because when you're healthy, you have 100 problems. You think of work, you think of everything going wrong. Well, when you're not healthy, whether it's physical or here, you only have one problem, and that is your health. And that is what you should focus on. And when you have, when you have health back, your hope back, you only want to focus on the good things, on the little things in life that truly matter, which is a time spent with your loved ones, with all the little things that you take for granted, but you shouldn't, because we're so focused on the next biggest thing. We forget to look at the flowers that are in front of us, right? At the little things that are in our everyday lives that make up our lives. There's a saying of like, what if you wake up tomorrow with only the things that you are grateful for? You're going to make sure you're grateful for everything you have, right? You don't want to have anything less. You don't want to lose anything. So I'm going to be grateful for everything. So those are the little messages, the hidden messages in there, if you will, for that film. And specifically for me, it means a lot more now because my friend Angel, who I mentioned was the editor for my film, he ended up falling into a coma and is
Sorry to
currently,
hear that.
thank you. Yeah, he's currently still there. And we're praying for him. So when I first started editing the movie, my grandfather passed away. So it was really,
I'm
really
sorry to hear that.
difficult. Thank you. So you see how even in the midst of all this, you have to be able to put forth something because it helps me also to create that type of message for other people. It helps me. So it meant one thing because of my grandfather when it was really, really difficult to edit, but I needed to see this through because of him and because of what it means to me and this message to put onto the world. And then now it means a lot more because of the person who helped me edit this film is in fact now dedicated. The dedication at the very end that says dedicated to those who we've lost but will remain forever in our hearts or minds, and it is now also dedicated to my friend Angel. So this film, it has a really special place in my heart, not because it's just my first film, but because of everything that it entails making it and who I made it with and who I had in mind in my heart at the time. So thank you for bringing that up. Appreciate that.
No, it's true. I mean, in regards to your friend Angel, sorry that he's in the coma and everything. So I'd like to make pray that he gets through everything. His family are given the strength through their hard times, and that when he gets fully recovered, he's back to doing what he's doing best and everything. Amen. Let's do
Yes,
that for him.
amen. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. No, you're welcome. You're welcome.